You can see that the whole face has taken shape. Now, the final step is really a lot of cleanup work, and that pretty much ends carving the face. I'm going to use a veiner or a V-tool, a very tiny V-tool. This one from is a flex cut, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a groove along his headband. There is where the headband meets, there's always a strong delineation where the headband lays on the forehead, and it's quite distinct. If you in fact undercut it, it will look much more realistic, not look like it's just a carved piece of wood laying on his forehead. This is where cleaning up the carving really makes a big difference in the realism of your carving. You can see just a little bit of cleanup. Already it's starting to have the headband stand out. Again, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to go back over it later and really do some tightening up on it. But that gives you an idea of things that I'm going to be doing to clean up his face. If you look at the side of his face, where the hair is lying down against the side of his face here, you'll notice that it's just smooth right now, no separation. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to did the boo-boo right there. You saw that one, right? Okay. End up digging in his lips. I have to fix that one. You will notice, by the way, I want to talk a little bit about this. You'll notice that because my hands are like this, I don't really have anything to hold or to rest my hand as I'm pushing the gouge. Which is something you really need. You need an anchor point when you're carving, and I don't have it. So a lot of times when I'm pushing on the gouge, there's nothing to stop it once the wood breaks free, which causes the gouge to move forward like this. Now, my other hand is right here, and because of that, it's easy, if I were to work on the surface here, for the gouge to keep traveling and to end up in this hand. And I had to learn the hard way by getting stabbed numerous times. Now, when I'm carving, what I will do is watch to make sure that as I'm pushing it here, if the gouge breaks free, it's going to go into this pocket here. So, two things. That's number one. And the second thing is, I'm not pushing really hard. I just don't have the strength to push really hard. So, even if it does get away from me and goes into the other hand, it's not going to do a lot of damage. I've heard of carvers having to go to the hospital because they've cut themselves. Mine are always superficial. I think I only had one really bad cut. So you can see, if you simply make a cut like that, it separates the hair from the cheek. And I'm going to do that a little bit more, because the face doesn't slant out that way. The face really goes back. The corner of his cheek here, the corner of his jaw here, is really right now squared in like this, which is certainly not how the jaw goes. The jaw is kind of up a little, so this part here will have to go in. When I carve, my approach is simply this. If it doesn't look right, I'll study it and decide how it is I can fix it, and then I'll approach the carving again from a different angle. That's kind of how I've rounded that part of the jawbone side of the face off. Okay, I'm going back to power, and I'm going to use a very tiny, when I say tiny, I mean a minuscule bit. You can see how tiny that is. That is a dental burr, again, that I got from my dentist. And what I'm going to use that for is to clean up a lot of the rough spots. I'm going to use it to clean out around the eyes in here. And do some final shaping. On his nose. You'll notice that on faces, right where the eye socket comes really deep right here, that it usually comes down the face as a line or a groove or a low spot. That's what I'm going to do here across his face. And again, the groove that goes down his face on this side. Take a better look at his face. This is something that I discovered that I would like to share with you. I use what is called a 3M radial bristle disc. Now, this disc here is completely worn. It's almost 100% worn. There's just a little bit of the bristles left near the hub. Later on my final sanding, after I've completely done all of the knife work that I want to do, I will use one of the finer bristle discs. This white is a 1-inch bristle disc, and it's the most abrasive. I use it on low speed, and because it will remove wood depending on how aggressively you attack your carving. So I don't like to use it a lot until at the very end, and then I will use it for some of the shaping. And since I like my faces to be smooth and a little bit more on the realistic side, I will use these radial bristle discs. The fine, they come in other colors, yellow and blue and brown, and the finer ones will smooth it out but not remove as much wood as this white one does. This white one is, as I said, quite aggressive. So, there we have our Native American Indian on a stick.